We all know the importance of the Umbra Forma, and getting these is really hard. There is only two that have possibly existed up until this point. But there's a massive problem with the fact that there's only two, and they are hidden behind Nightwave. And that is basically this. There are 3 Umbral mods per frame. I have mentioned in the past, it is kind of pointless putting the Umbra Forma onto a melee weapon because primed pressure point, oh, I don't know if that's the right mod, is better than any of the Umbral mods that are available on melee. Okay, really glad. I always get that confused with the shotgun one, but 165% melee, 90. I know it's not maxed because maxing it is pointless. If you're going to use these mods, you use them on a sword that you have to format 5 times to get there. I have a whole different thing for that. I really should have done weeks ago when somebody mentioned it, but when it comes to these, it's pointless putting these in here. And if you actually go to format them, you'll realise there's only one left. But I haven't put it on Frost. Find out where that's going. Hopefully soon, but I did use it weeks ago and still haven't finished leveling that frame up to put the second one in. Because this video is supposed to have none of these left. But I am way behind where I wanted to be. There should also be 7 of those because I should have formatted that. But, well, the new frame came out and honestly Gauze has been much more fun than messing around with Umbra Forma has been. So I had this crazy theory. A while ago they added this thing for removing the arcanes when you used to install them on sandanas and such. Armor pieces, helmets, whatever you installed it on, they introduced a tool to remove them and add them back into your inventory so you can install them on something else that you're using. What if they introduced the same kind of tool that you could only get through that? I don't know. If you have any ideas, comment section below. Where would the Umbra Forma removal tool go? Because we have a source of these polarities, these forma, that a lot of people are overlooking. There's 2. 112 even max, that doesn't go past what the primed version does. And this weapon doesn't really do any extra damage to sentinels, so this weapon it's okay, there's nothing really wrong with it. It's actually pretty good for the I'm just going to say the attack speed, because let's be honest, the status is probably better on this than the crit, but considering it has a 90% crit chance mod, even throwing a crit damage mod in with Blood Rush, it's still below 30% crit, which makes it pretty rubbish. So there's 2 forma right there if you no longer use this weapon. Taking us to a possible, at the moment, 4 forma? Remembering, you only need 3, but let's say you use that but don't really use Umbra himself that much. Well, there's 3. You could always pilfer one of these to put on your other frame. There is nothing wrong with it, because if you then decided you wanted to use Umbra, you could get a hold of this Umbra Forma removal tool and actually use it again on whatever it is to put it back on here. But it does mean having to level up what you've just taken it off and what you are trying to put it on. Same comes with if you removed it from Umbra or his melee weapon, you would still have to level it up again. I know this is just one of those stupid, crazy ideas I have every now and then, but let's be honest. There's forma here that are going to waste because, yes, I'm with everybody else. Rather than use Excalibur Prime, I will use Umbra, but he is just being forgotten about, as you could probably tell from the pink thing on his neck, because I don't run Excalibur that often, so I would like to remove one of his forma and put it on the frame that I'm kind of building when all of this sentient stuff arrives, because when it arrives, will not be using Umbra. Will not be using Umbra's sword. Will be using the... oh, I forget the name of this thing every single time this comes out. Paracesis? Oh my god, my mouse is hovering over it. Yes, we'll use the Paracesis because, well, The best way I can put this is you have to format this 5 times anyway. But, as I probably mentioned in the past, putting the Umbra Forma on this is a complete waste of time anyway, because you have to format it 5 times to max it out, because it's the only weapon that goes past 30. And it has plus 60% damage to Sentinels. It resets the damage resistance to Sentinels. I did make a whole video about this and then kind of lost it, which is what I was referring to earlier. It would go better with the sacrificial mods because they add damage to Sentinels. 33.8, 33.8. Let's throw these two in here because it's 33.8 on top of the 60% damage to Sentinels using this sword is nearly twice as much the damage to Sentinels than it is just anything else. This is definitely the sword to put the Umbra mods on. You do not need the Umbra Forma on this weapon. It is a waste because you have to forma it so many times. But an Umbra Forma removal tool would be very useful because you could take one off it and leave it unranked, because obviously, like, formaing it, it would take it off and reset it back to 0, but you would have to level it up again to take that one off. Which wouldn't really... You could, but this tool doesn't exist anyway, so this is all meaningless. I just think that there's 3 forma, there's 2 forma, that's possible 5, which means there are 7 that would be available at the moment that would make things so much easier setting up for when the old war returns. The old war becomes the new war. But that's just a crazy idea. It'll never happen, but it is one of those simple solutions that always kind of gets overlooked. But as I say, it probably never happened because there's no such thing as an Umbra Forma, any kind of Forma removal tool. But we'll leave this off here for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.